Hey folks, it's Dave here, and a couple people have asked about printing and spreadsheets and the whole bit, so I'm going to show you what I do, and maybe this will help you out with some things in your projects. Now, in no way am I an expert with Excel, but I've been working really heavily with Excel for the last few weeks as I've been doing some of these games and some of these projects. So let me show you what I do to get some printing done and to import stuff and set up my score sheets. Okay, so first off, here is the 1977 season that I have from the 2-minute drill. Okay, that I download off of sportsreplays.net. This is the 70s season. And now if you go to print, okay, let's go to file, print. Okay, and so we're just going to go active sheet, no scaling, and so this is going to be our standard print right here. Now you can see that off to the side over here. Let me get rid of me, actually. I might be in the way. Okay, so if you look off to the side over here, how it's you're not going to get these cards to print over here. It's kind of messed up. So you're going to have 9 cards print. It's going to be messed up. So let's go to our landscape. Okay, so now we'll get 8 cards, but it's still kind of messed up here. So we don't want to do that, right? And I want my cards nice and big. So I want to go back to my spreadsheet, and I'm going to take 4 cards. So I'm going to start with Baltimore and Miami, go down here to my Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. Okay, so I've got 4 sheets selected. Okay, so go to print, and now if you go to your settings and you go print selection, now you have the 4 teams that you selected. Okay, I'm going to set this up in portrait, and here we are. But now they're still small. They're still, baseball card size, and I want them a little bit bigger than that. Okay, for me, when I do my broadcast, I want to show off the cards, so I want to make them bigger. So I'm going to go to my scaling and my custom scaling options, and let's go to 200. Let's blow them up 200%. What do we got? Okay, well, that's too big, and that won't fit. So let's go back to custom scaling, and let's try 150. And 150 is good. Okay, 150 gets all 4 on a sheet of paper, and they look good, and I could print that out right there. So that's how I get my cards printed up. So I'm going to get 4 to a page, and you'd have to go back. Okay, so these are the 4 I selected. So if you wanted to do 4 different ones, you would have to go and select the 4 different ones. Go to File, Print, and now you have the 4 different ones. Okay, and what's good is it saves your settings here, so you don't have to keep going back to your selection and your custom scaling. It does save it, so you can just kind of rip them off, 4 at a time, and print them out. And again, you can change, however you want. If you wanted to print 6 and you didn't want them that big, so let's say, okay, we're going to select 6, and we're going to go to File, Print. Okay, and we're going to bring our custom scaling down. Let's go, how about 125? Let's see if that'll work. And if we go to our landscape, no, not yet, so we need to scale that down just a tad more. How about 115? I'm just kind of playing around with numbers here. Nope, not quite. You still see we're missing that bottom row. So we'll go to custom scaling and 110. And that should squeeze us in. Oh, that messed up this here. So let me go back. File, print. Sometimes the preview is not good. Yeah, there we go. The preview is fine now. So again, it's 1 of 1. It's 100% scaling. So now we can get 6 cards on a page if you want to have them this size. And it's only 110%, so it's only 10% bigger. So they're going to be smaller cards, but you get more per page. So you kind of get where I'm going with this as far as printing. So you can really, print your selection right here. Then you can change your custom scaling. You can even change your margins a little bit if you want to. If you want to put them in the center of the page, that might bump them in the center. But now, again, we squeezed off the bottom here. So let's go back to our normal margins, and that works out much better. So that's how you would do the printing of cards if you wanted to enlarge them or make them smaller or more per page, however you wanted to do it. Now, over here now, so you have the Jets. They're off on the side. So if we print these 4 and then these 4, well, what are we going to do about the Jets? Well, what I would do about the Jets, aside from kick them out of the league, I would do a Control X on my Jets card, and I would put them over here next to the Chiefs with a Control V. Okay, and then I would take my Buccaneers, who's off all by themselves, and I do a Control X, and I come over here next to the Giants and a Control V. So now we have these 4 cards, which I can now print. File, print, and again I will go to my portrait, my custom scaling options, which I think we set for 150 for the 4 per sheet, and bam. Now again, the preview's messed up because I played around with it, so let's go back and file print, and yep, it's all back to normal now. So just for some reason it was popping those logos around, but that should print out really nice, 4 cards to a sheet, and that's how I did it. So that's how you would move these things around here if you wanted to, if you had a single off to the side and you were trying to save paper or whatever, so you could just gang them together like that with a cut and paste. So now let's check out something else. So I played the 1976 Tampa Bay Buccaneers season. Okay, I've done it on a couple of games, and I played my my entire season on the quick play and had some fun. So I just did a search, 1976 Tampa Bay Buccaneers season, and Pro Football Reference is the best place to go. It really is. Go down here to your schedule and your games, and they have this experimental thing as an Excel, and it actually works all right. So as you can see, this is my entire season, 1 through 14. We went 0-14. This is the season I've been replaying. So we're going to go to Share and More, Get as Excel. It downloads it. I'm going to double click to open my Excel spreadsheet. It says blah, blah, blah. We just hit yes. And so now, I'm going to enable editing. So now this is the transposed Buccaneers schedule. So let's get rid of some of the things I don't need. I don't need all these offense and defense stats for my dice rolling game. So I'm going to right click and delete. Okay, I don't need the day. Right click and delete. I don't need the box score. Right click and delete. I don't even need the time of day really. Right click and delete. Okay, I don't need overtime. Right click and delete. And so now this is really all I want. I want my date. I don't even need the loss because I know they lost all the games. Okay, so I have my record, which is 0-14. I got my opponent. I'm just kind of opening up these things here a little bit. Okay, so now I'm going to go and center all these. I'm going to do a center and a center. No, that didn't work, did it? There we go. Okay, so this is my starting point now. So I've taken from the schedule what I need for my project. I have the week, I have the date, the record. If I can get rid of that, because I know they lost them all. But if you're doing a team that had wins and losses, then you might want to keep this. And this is important too. This shows you all my away games, because that comes into play on some of the games here. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is, because I'm going to do a home and away over here, so home and away going down my column, I need to insert some rows. So I'm going to insert on row 2. I'm going to insert on row 3. I'm going to go right down my list on all the numbers, and that's going to basically double space. Now there might be an easier way to do this, but for me this is how I do it, because I'm new at Excel. And it, again, there's probably a faster way to insert here. There might be a shortcut, but for me, I'm just clicking on the row, and I'm right clicking, and then I'm inserting. So I click on the row, I right click, and I insert. Click on the row, I right click, and I insert. Okay, so now I get double spacing going on. Now where that comes into play is over here. So I'm going to set up, so I get my score. Now I'm going to eventually move my scores over here, but for right now, so it's got the Houston at Houston. So how I do it is, here's my team, and it's going to be Tampa Bay and Houston. Okay, so let's center this whole row up here like that. Okay, so now on the games I'm playing, I have a defensive role, and I have an offensive role, and then I have a total. Okay, or a final score, if you will. So that's what I'm doing in this game here. So when Tampa rolls on defense, I put it in, and then Houston rolls on defense, and then Tampa offense, and then we have our total or our final score. So I might even put, I'll put final. That way we know what it is, okay? Now over here, I'm going to put actual score, okay? So we know what the actual score was. So the actual score was 20-0. The actual score here was 23-0. and then so on, 14 to 9, and you can see what I'm doing here. So I can now go here and get rid of this, because what I want is my final score to be right next to the actual score. So I'm going to center that row up. So now when I play, so I'm playing Tampa Bay Houston, and let's say I roll the dice and Tampa Bay gives up 14 points to Houston in the game I was playing, and then they score 7, and then I roll for Tampa offense, they get 0, and Houston gets 7. So my final score is 7 to 21, okay? But now I'm like, oh, I don't like this here, so I need to change the actual to reflect it. So 0 to 20. And then this one here would be 23 to nothing, and this one would be 14 to 9, and so on. So now when I play my games, so when I have Tampa Bay at San Diego in this one here, so now when I put in my score, so Tampa Bay, say they score 7, San Diego gets 10, let's say Tampa Bay gets 3, San Diego gets 17, so my final score here is 27 to 10. So now I can compare it to my actual final score. And then if you want to too, you can actually just drop this down a little bit, and that'll give you a little separation. So grab the row, and that'll give you a little separation. So now you can really see it nice. So I got, here's the final score and the actual score, the final score and the actual score, and the whole bit. So then I would do that here as well. So it would be Tampa Bay hosting Buffalo. So actually I got this wrong. That should have been San Diego at the top at Tampa Bay. But you get where I'm going with this. So if this was Buffalo at Tampa Bay, then I put on my scores, so Buffalo gets 7, Tampa Bay gets 7, Buffalo gets 14, Tampa Bay gets 3, and then my final score 21 to 10 compared to 14 to 9. So that's just kind of how I set it up here if I'm playing the quick play games. But again, all these you can really move these around and resize these as you need. If you want, you can even put in colors. So you click on here, you can go Tampa Bay, we're going to make that box orange, and the Houston box was like what, a powder blue. So if you want to, you can get crazy like that. You can even make the whole row orange if you want to. And I've done that with some of my spreadsheets. And so if you really want to get colorful, you can do that as well. But anyway, so that's just how I set up my score sheets for the games. A lot of times, sometimes there's a game. So let's do this. Let me get rid of these columns here. Okay, I'll keep my my final scores. So let's just say there's a rating system. Okay, so we got the offensive rating. So we got a defensive and an offensive rating system. Okay, and then you need an adjustment. So let's go to insert here. So this is going to be our adjusted score, because sometimes there's an adjustment. So let's just say instead of rolling by quarter, you're looking for numbers. So the Tampa defense, let's say, is 1, and the Tampa offense is 5. The Houston defense is, say, they're 5, and their offense is 8. Okay, then you go to the formula of the game, and you put in your adjusted number. And let's just say this is going to be a 3. And Houston, let's just say, is 14, okay? Then you would, so I would put all this stuff in here beforehand, okay? And I would do this for all the games. I would have all my defense and offense and adjusted ratings, everything that you didn't need to, to do during the game. All your setup I'd have all done. So I'd have my numbers all squared away. Then when I did my stream, or if I'm not streaming, if I'm just playing by myself, I have all the games set up so I can just sit down and roll. So I have all my adjustments made. So when I roll, I look at the column and I put in the number that the column says, and then I have my final score. So there's a couple ways of doing it there. I just wanted to share how I do it. Nothing real fancy. There's probably better ways to do it, but a couple people have asked, so I figured I'd throw up a video on how I print out my cards for my games and how I set up my my score sheets and things like that. So that's how I do it. Nothing real fancy to it. I'm actually learning a lot about Excel. I've watched some videos here on YouTube about how to do some of this stuff, because I could do some little stuff with Excel, but not a lot, and I'm still learning it. But anyway, that's a quick setup here that I do with my printing and my spreadsheets when I do my cards and dice games. So anyway, I'll come back on and say hi before I head out there. And So, hello everybody, and I'm gonna head out here. And I hope you liked the video. Hope it helped you out. If you have any suggestions, let me know because I'm still learning Excel as well. So, have a good day, and we'll talk to you later. Bye bye.